Okay, wow. Guys, I have to make a confession here. I have never given a talk ever in my life, okay? So this is my very first ever talk, and you guys are my first talk audience. If I goof up, which I may, I've never used Keynote before in my life, just be nice to me, right? So let me begin. I am Sawan. I'm an architect turned professional musician. I've been creating music commercially for films, for television, for a vast range of projects for the last many years. Now, a year and a half ago, I created something which I called a song blog or a song vlog for my YouTube channel, and I decided to call this the Metronome. Now, this was not a commercial venture of any kind. This was something which I did purely as a personal whim. And this is a space where I essentially tell stories about various experiences that I go through on a day-to-day basis. And I tell these stories in the form of original songs, which I write, which I create, which I compose and put together. And I try to support these stories with simple, self-created videos. So the first thing that I did when I made the vlog was that I made a small trailer to try and explain what is the Metronome all about, so that anyone who lands up at this place gets a sense of what to expect. So I'm going to play you the trailer now.
This is where I come to sing about any little random thing that I love, that I hate, that makes me hyperventilate to the ticking of the metronome. Won't you make yourself at home? Just groove with the vibe. Don't forget to subscribe. Invite everyone at home. Welcome to the Metronome. Welcome to the Metronome.
So that's what the Metronome is all about. So let me give you a quick, very brief background about my past and the various events that led up to the Metronome. I studied to be an architect. I studied architecture, and well, even while I was studying, I was actually spending more time doing music. I was playing with various bands. My college band was called The Archetypes, and then I was playing with Indian Ocean, which was a brand newly formed band at the time. Then I graduated. I started working as an architect, and I was missing music like mad, basically. Around this time, I got married to this magician of a guy. He's sitting right here. His name is CB. I have to keep saying nice things about him because he's sitting right here. So, apart from being a filmmaker and many other things, he also was a tech whiz and a computer genius. So what he did was he introduced me to digital audio and the world of digital music, which for the very first time in my life made me realize that I don't really need a band or other musicians to create my own music. I can pretty much do it on my own, using a computer, using virtual instruments. So what I did was that I hitched up my MIDI keyboard to the computer at home, and we set up our home studio, and I started making little bits and pieces of music. And I would play these pieces of music to various friends and acquaintances. Many of them were from the television industry. I started getting little bits of work. Then I started getting more work, and at some point I had to decide to keep my architectural work on hold and focus entirely on music. After that, around 10 years ago, we moved to Mumbai. This was all happening in Delhi. So then we moved to Mumbai to try and expand our creative canvas. So I worked on a couple of small feature films, Bollywood films. I worked on many bigger TV series like the KBC. I did music for many seasons of KBC, including the one which was just concluded in November. And what happened around 4 years or so back is that I found myself looking at one of the big break situations that can happen to a professional here. So what was happening was there were these two films that I was making songs for. Now, one of Bollywood's biggest superstars agreed to feature in one of the films, and this is like a lottery win kind of a situation in this city. So we were like all overjoyed. Oh my God, our life is made, and this is it. And the other film was a massive, mythological thriller with about 10, 11 songs. So this was like a dream situation for me, and I spent the next 2 years giving everything that I had, pouring all my energies, all my, creativity into making songs for these two films. because I really wanted to make commercial blockbusters out of every song. I wanted the songs playing everywhere. And well, what happened at the end of these 2 years is that both the films fizzled out. You know, all my dreams kind of came to this screeching halt. The superstar decided he wasn't interested in working, he wasn't interested in the first film, so that film collapsed. And the second film, the production house which was funding it, just, you know, dissolved. So here I was looking at this horrible and depressing fact that I had just wasted 2 years of my life working on what I thought was some of the most exciting music that I had made, and now suddenly no one was ever going to be listening to any of the songs that I had made. And here I was with 10-15 songs of every genre. You know, there were item numbers, and there were action songs, and there were romantic songs, and that's it. I mean, they were all going to go into the hard disk graveyard in my studio, and no one would ever get to hear them. So I was, you know, really horribly depressed about this, and I was sitting around kind of moping away, and then CB kind of decided to give me the ass kicking that I really needed at this point of time. He said that, what is wrong with you? I mean, okay, so 2 films are not happening, big deal. I mean, is that why you left architecture and chose music? I mean, is that all there is? What happened to the music that you wanted to make for yourself? What happened to the music that you were going to make just because it gives you joy? I mean, you write, you create your own music, you compose, you have a studio to put it all together. We have selfie cameras and all these cameras, there are edits studios, and what world are you living in? This is the internet era where nobody needs to give you a break. Why don't you just get out there, make more songs, and go find yourself an audience? Like, stop this mourning and groaning and get on with your life, you know, forget the 2 films and make other songs. And so I thought that, yeah, okay, what he's saying makes sense, you know. And I thought maybe this is the point at which I should maybe use this as a positive, as a sort of opportunity to maybe have fun with music and, you know, do the kind of mad, crazy, weird, irreverent, bizarre things that no commercial client will ever allow me to do. So let me just go completely haywire and yeah, see what happens, because kaun rokega mujhe, matlab, no one can do anything if I'm doing it for the internet, right? So that is, you know, where the Metronome really comes from. It was like this big rebound act after, you know, 2 breakups with 2 horrible films that didn't happen. So okay, so I started thinking that what can I choose as my subjects for the song blog. I said, let's try and pick topics from whatever is happening in my life right now. And since I am a musician and an audio professional, there was a lot of talk happening at the time around about these pitch correcting softwares that everybody was using, you know. So there's a whole bunch of these softwares which simplistically people refer to as auto-tune. So there was a lot of you know, activity around this, and people were saying one should use it, one shouldn't use it, is it a good thing, is it a bad thing? So I said, all right, so let me make my first song and call it Auto-Tune Your Ass Off. And I'm going to pick not a bad singer or an off-key singer, but the most difficult vocalist you can think of to pitch correct. I'm going to use a real ass, I'm going to use a real donkey. And I said that, you know, for the video, I am kind of done with Bollywood superstars and all. I'm going to use a real donkey for my video. I mean, yeah, why not? So I made this video, the first video at the Metronome, called Auto-Tune Your Ass Off. I'm going to play you this video now.
I met an ass, he said he had a dream of being a singer. He asked me, did it seem really likely he'd be a superstar? I said, let's step into my studio, it's not far. He sang his song repeatedly, but still he said the notes sound wrong. I said, just chill. With auto-tune your eyes off, auto-tune your eyes off, let's auto-tune your eyes off, auto-tune your eyes off. I'm feeling nervous, he said, do I sound fine? I said relax and trust in Melodyne. Irrespective of the key in which you break, in the end and Taris saves the day. So sing your heart out and lay your soul bare, and then we pitch correct you till you sound like Cher. Auto-tune your ass off. Auto-tune your ass off. Let's auto-tune your ass off. Auto-tune your ass off.
So as you can imagine, for a musician like me, making this video was not very easy, because my first question was, where am I going to get a donkey from? So I did what everybody does. I googled donkey Mumbai, and yeah, there were many suggestions on the net as usual, and I went for the easiest of them. I walked across to my nearby beach, and I found the guy who gives horse rides. Asked him, भाई साहब आपके पास गधा मिलेगा? And to my surprise, the guy says कि मैडम मिल जाएगा, आपको कितने घंटे के लिए चाहिए, मेल या फीमेल, कैसा? I was like, wow, this guy actually said yes. I mean, this is like the universe conspiring to bring me a donkey. So I tried pushing my luck. I said, आपके पास कितने गधे भाई साहब, कौन-कौन से कलर के हैं, थोड़ा देख सकते हैं, थोड़ा लुक गधे का, एटीट्यूड वगैरह देखे, थोड़ा चूज कर सकते हैं गधा हम. तो he says कि ठीक है मैडम, आप आ जाइए, आपको ले चलते हैं, जितने गधे हैं सारे देख लीजिए. So he takes me to this massive garbage dump, you know, where there are all these donkeys just lolling around in the dirt. I found one guy, he's a black donkey, who was not actually sitting in the muck, he was standing around. I said कि ये मेरे को सही लग रहा है भैया, इसको ये मिलेगा, तो 1 घंटे का बुकिंग चाहिए मेरे को ये donkey के साथ. He said ठीक है मैडम. I said let's try and make friends with this donkey, because you know he's going to be my co-star on the video. So I tried. I went close to the donkey and I thought, let's make friends with him. And the donkey was absolutely not interested in making friends with me. Very clear, you know, he gave me this kind of attitude like, you know, I know there's some ulterior motive here, dude, you're not trying to make friends with me, so just get lost, don't try this whole friendly thing with me. I said, all right, fine, whatever. So then I started asking the guy, the donkey guy, that, भाई साहब ये donkey देखो हमने कभी आपसे अभी तक human being भी direct नहीं किया है, so how on earth am I going to direct a donkey? That was my second problem. How am I going to direct a donkey for my video? What's it going to do? So I asked the guy कि आपका donkey बोलता है मेरे को break करने वाला donkey चाहिए, कैसे इसको बुलवाऊं? And I said कि मारने का नहीं है, प्यार से करना है, जो भी करना है. He says कि मैडम अगर आप इसको गाजर खिलाओगे तो शायद ये बोलेगा. I said all right, गाजर, so let's get गाजर. So one was gajar. Secondly, you know, in the meanwhile, I had many friends in Delhi, in Chicago, in other places who were like horribly interested. My God, this girl's going to shoot with a donkey. So I said, guys, just help me out. I need a donkey to bray. So so everybody is on the net researching how to make a donkey bray. And you know, my friend in Chicago, Maya, she comes up with this suggestion that yeah, in South America, there's somebody on a farm said that their donkeys start braying when they see other donkeys braying. So can you get a video of a donkey braying? I said, yeah, damn good idea. So I downloaded donkey braying videos from the YouTube, and I put them on my laptop. So then I was armed with donkey braying video with carrots, a rucksack filled with about 1.5 kilos of carrots. And I said, let's get some props. I got this oversized, pair of glasses, and I got a pair of broken headphones that were there in my studio, and I landed up. So we land up 6:30 in the morning at the venue, and the donkey arrives. The donkey has an entourage of 3 managers who land up, and the guy says कि भाई साहब, he says कि मैडम आपका crew कहाँ है? So I said, भैया यही crew है, हम ही दोनों हैं, cast and crew सारा यही है. So the guy was of course suitably unimpressed, because donkey has 3 people and madam has just 1 person. So you can clearly see, who the star of the shoot is. So all right, we said कि भाई साहब गधे को थोड़ा video दिखाना है, दिखाते हैं. So I started showing the donkey the video of that I downloaded. The donkey takes one look at the video. He looks at me completely alarmed. He's got this one ear up. He tears his rope and he runs. With the 3 managers are running after the donkey, and I'm standing here saying, यार ये donkey का meter तो चालू है, 1 घंटा हो गया, क्या करें, donkey तो भाग गया. What are we going to do? 15 minutes तो ऐसे ही निकल गए. So anyhow, the guys brought the donkey back. He was very, very reluctant. And then we're saying, okay, keep the video aside. It's clearly not working. Let's try the carrots. So we started feeding the donkey carrots. Donkey is very happy to eat the carrots. It started munching the carrots. And we figured that as long as the donkey is eating the carrots, he's going to let us, put on the headphones and put on the glasses. And so we managed that much. And then I told CB, ki tu bas shoot kar. Let the donkey keep munching its carrots, and I'm going to just keep standing next to him and doing all my things. I'm going to keep saying my lines and dancing, and just let the donkey eat carrots. So that is all the donkey did through the entire shoot. it munched through my rucksack of carrots with varying degrees of enthusiasm, and yeah, and the donkey did not bray, even once. So eventually I had to download this playback donkey sample from the net. So this is like a true Bollywood donkey. Didn't even, do its own braying. I had to get like playback for it. So, and of course the other thing that happened was we realized that when we landed up at the shoot, the venue the guy had chosen was right next to where all the villagers come for their morning crap. So we had a steady stream of, shitters who kept passing us with their lota, and they would keep stopping and they would see ki donkey hai, glasses or headphone pehn ki kya ho raha hai, and we would have to keep telling them that bhai sahab aage badhiye, shooting chal raha hai, and they didn't know what the hell was happening. So, well, the donkey shoot happened. I made the video, I uploaded it. It got a reasonably warm reception, especially from the music and audio community. They thought it was a nice bit of inside joke, and kids loved it because they were like, wow, singing donkey and mad auntie dancing next to it and all of that. And what also happened was that, I became known as a bit of an authority on donkeys and how to get donkeys and what to do with donkeys. So any friend of mine on Facebook who ever had an encounter with any donkey would feel compelled to tell me and send me pictures. And people would ask me like, I need 15 donkeys for my farm. Where do you think I can get them? So yeah, I became this resident donkey expert. So then of course the question arose, what next after donkey? And I said that, okay, for the next video I want to do something a little simpler, which doesn't require me chasing donkeys and trying to placate it and all of that. So I said, all right, I was looking at my calendar, the Bengali New Year happened to be right around the corner. So I said, hey, why don't I do something with a typical bong idiosyncrasy. And how many Bengalis here? Lots of bongs. So anyway, so I said, all right, so the use of borolin, kind of qualifies as something that I could use. And of course borolin is right up there on the priority list along with your KO Carpin hair oil and Aqua Thai Coatis and Live 52 and all of that. So I said, okay, I'm going to make an ode to borolin, and for this video I'm going to change my appearance a bit. I'm going to keep my glasses on. Now I'm horribly myopic and those are my real glasses, and I have spent a large part of my life avoiding ever being seen in those glasses. But I thought, okay, since I am on a mad streak and doing all kinds of weird things, why don't I just keep the glasses on? And I'm going to be this intellectual Bengali lady with big bindi and sari and all of that. And why do I need to sing with an English or American or even a North Indian accent? Because we Bengalis have a marvelous accent of our own. I'm going to flaunt this accent on the song. So I made the ode to borolin, which I'm going to play now.
Is your skin feeling dry? Does your complexion make you cry? Then you must definitely try borolin. Borolin is good for my skin. Borolin is the cream for my teeth and kin. I put on my lip, my cheek and my chin. Borolin is more effective any day than Vaseline. If you have got mosquito bite, or if you hurt yourself in fight, if you have got boil on your bum, choose correct treatment, do not be dumb. Borolin, borolin, the balm for my skin. I always have extra in my biscuit tin. I rub on my leg, my elbow and shin. Borolin is the trim cream for my teeth and kin.
That turned out to be not quite as uncomplicated of a shoot as I thought, because I was there and I was also operating the camera. So as you can see, this involved a lot of smearing of borolin all over me, and I had to do a lot of retakes. So by the end of the shoot, I had borolin all over my hands and my clothes, and the camera I was operating with the same greasy fingers. So yeah, it was quite a mess. But okay, the reaction to that video was something which I had not anticipated. Suddenly I was getting all these mails and texts and messages from all over the place, you know, including from film directors who had not spoken to me in years. And yeah, there were people thanking me for evoking so much nostalgia, and I was saying, what nostalgia? I had not really intended any nostalgia there, but okay, whatever. So, and of course the loveliest part of the reaction which was coming my way was so many people sending me clips of their kids, you know, enacting the song out. So it was all very lovely, and I think on my entire blog, kids have been a huge you know, force that I've taken inspiration from, and I've taken a lot of advice at every point from a lot of kids, because I think kids give you absolutely genuine advice, and you know, they don't have any further agenda. Whatever it is they tell you is normally correct. So even the decision that I took to you know, introduce a subject and to sign off, to actually come on camera before the song and the video, was something which a friend's 13-year-old daughter, Sarika, she was in Chicago. She heard the song Boroli, and she had absolutely no idea what I was singing about. So she says, what is this? Can you possibly, you know, come on camera and tell us, because there'll be lots like me, maybe not, who are not in India, who don't know what you're talking about. I hated coming on camera, you know, it was just not my thing, but I thought she had a point. I mean, all right, so I kind of decided I would, you know, do whatever it takes to get comfortable in front of the camera, and I started. So yeah, kids have been a major influencing factor on the blog itself. And well, the thing is that the really overwhelming thing about the reaction that I received to Borolin was that, you know, I have been making music for various public platforms, television, film. I've done my own album in 2006. I've been making music for a while, but never have I received feedback which is this direct and this immediate, with so many people, you know, coming out of the woodwork immediately to tell me how much they loved it. So I was like completely, you know, I didn't know what was happening. So also, I was trying to wrap my head around the fact that, you know, people are responding to something that I've created, you know, to my content and to me, and not because it's connected to a huge Bollywood film, not because there's a superstar dancing in the film, not because it's on a major TV channel, not because somebody's pumped in huge amounts of money promoting the channel, because I haven't, you know, till date I haven't spent a penny in actually promoting my blog. I just don't have that kind of money. And it's not like I made a huge lavish video with, you know, big budget stuff happening, and it's not high on production values. As you can see, this Borolin was one of the cheapest videos you will ever see in your life. I mean, it can't get any cheaper than this. So there was something happening that was quite an education for me. It was a revelation, because all these years there were a lot of myths surrounding what it is that people like to see, what kind of content should you be making, what should videos be all about, and slowly a lot of these myths were dissolving, because wow, there was something else happening here that I figured I ought to be learning from what's happening. So, and the other thing that happened was that, you know, my perception towards the Metronome started changing. I was suddenly not feeling like I'm on this solo, solitary journey anymore. I thought that, okay, I have all these people, you know, who are on this journey with me, and they have an opinion about what I should be doing. And of course, the big question everyone was asking is that, what are you going to do next with Bengali auntie? When are you bringing her back? And I said, oh boss, I never thought of, you know, I'd never thought of her as a serial character, so it looks like I'm stuck with her now. What do I do? Because I never planned to do anything more with her. But everyone was asking, what is her next ode going to be about? What is she going to do next? So, you know, we, CB and I, we started kind of racking our brains to think that what can she do next, logically. So, you know, he found out that on YouTube, one of the big super genres other than music and videos is recipes. So he asked that, you know, is it possible for us to actually combine music and recipes together and make a hybrid genre that doesn't exist as of now? And I said, yeah, it sounds like a good idea, except that I don't know if anybody's ever made any recipe song, and I've never made one, so let's see if I can do it. And of course, what can Bengali auntie possibly cook? Macher jhol is the logical, you know, answer. So I made the song. I tested out the recipe after making the song, of course, because I didn't want people to like follow the recipe and fall down dead, or, you know, say, God, what the hell was that? So I tested it out, and we said, okay, let's shoot it. We shot it in our kitchen. So we came up with this lovely idea of, you know, shooting me against the 3 window panes and forming this kitchen choir, chorus girls singing parts of the song. And let me play the song for you.
Today our goal is to make মাছের ঝোল, মাছের ঝোল, মাছের ঝোল. Good for my tummy and good for my soul. মাছের ঝোল, মাছের ঝোল. With turmeric and salt first marinate the fish. Cut potato like this or smaller if you wish. Heat mustard oil till it smoke in the pan. Fry fish and potato as lightly as you can. If every now and then you forget to turn, it will be very bad, your potato will burn. What is our goal? To make মাছের ঝোল, মাছের ঝোল, মাছের ঝোল. If you have amasha or perhaps ombol, মাছের ঝোল, মাছের ঝোল. Coriander, cumin, chili powder and turmeric. Add the water, make the paste like this, not very thick. 1 or 2 bay leaf plus pinch pachforon. Buy from the shop or make on your own. Add all the ingredients in the heated oil. Add potato, add the water, let it come to boil. Add salt and green chili, for me only one. Add the fish and let it simmer till the jhol is done. Enjoy with rice or straight from the bone. মাছের ঝোল, মাছের ঝোল. Good for your tummy and good for your soul. মাছের ঝোল, মাছের ঝোল.
Mache Jhol, of course, went massively viral, and this was my first experience of this kind of virality. You know, I had never experienced anything like it. And as it happens, you know, my sister and my 2 little boys, my nephews, were visiting me from London around the time, and both the boys have their own YouTube channel, and they landed up here and they see that Masi's, oh wow, Masi's video is going viral, and there was so much excitement in the house. You know, they installed all these apps on my computer, and there were every now and then there would be these shrieks in the house, Masi, you got 2 new subs, Masi, you got like 100 more views. So there was huge amounts of, you know, excitement in the house over Masi going viral. And of course, the other thing that I realized from all the reaction that came my way was that perhaps this was the very first ever recipe song, and maybe there aren't any other recipe songs or videos around there. So I started getting a deluge of requests. Can you please make this recipe? Can you please make that recipe? How about this? How about that? And I was like, oh my God, what do I do? Because, you know, some of those recipes I've definitely never made before, and I've never even heard of some of them, because I'm not a virtuoso cook. What I am is a songwriter. And yeah, it's not like I spend a lot of time obsessing about food or, you know, sitting in my kitchen all the time, which seemed to be a sort of presumption out there, so I was like, okay, what do I do? Because clearly this seems to be something that people want. So I said, all right, let me give it a shot. So a lot of these recipes I had to actually Google, or I would call up my mom, Ma, what do I do? Do you know how to make that? So I started making a series of, over time, I started making a series of these recipe songs. The only thing that I had to keep, you know, make sure of was that in each of the songs I vary the musical style and the musical genre a little bit, because otherwise I would die of boredom, you know. So let me play you a quick montage of some of these different recipes, showing you what I did with different musical styles.
Hit the oil in pressure cooker. Did I hear a scream? Never, not even in dream. All this shortcut in the kitchen, which good cook will touch. But if in a hurry to cook your curry, you need not worry too much. And soon you will know how to make kosha mangsho. Kosha mangsho, kosha mangsho, kosha mangsho, mangsho, mangsho. Chat moshla and red chili powder. We want chalmuri. Chal, 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 chalmuri. Spicy, tasty, crunchy chalmuri. Chal, 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 chalmuri. spices are steep, potato is cheap. Aloo posto, add me jealousy, dry red chili, and the potato to the hot oil. Lightly fry, add the poppy paste and chili and water, then let it boil. Add salt and sugar, simmer until potatoes are done. You have the tastiest potato dish under the sun. Coat each piece of fish with this paste. Add green chili according to taste. In banana leaf, gently baste the fish. Ilish, ilish, ilish. The fish will cook in this way. It will taste of smoke and shoshe. All you need is some rice and this fish. Ilish, ilish, ilish. Guest coming home to eat, no need to worry. Chingli, chingli, chingli malai curry. Chingli, chingli, chingli malai curry. Chingli, 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 chingli malai curry.
So the good thing that happened from all of this, from my starting to do recipe songs, is that now I started getting approached by brands, and by manufacturers of various different products. They all wanted to know that is there a way you can now feature our product as part of your vlog? Can you weave it into your story and sort of showcase our product a little bit, and in a manner which is of course mutually beneficial. Now this really was a heaven sent thing for me, because as if any of you are independent bloggers or vloggers, or if you run any kind of solo venture, you know that it is a huge step to actually see something that you just made on the side as a personal self-indulgent kind of a whim, to show signs of becoming something that is self-sustaining and financially sustainable. That is a massive step. So of course I said yes, I would love to do that, except I mean, there's an open invitation always to brands and products to come and be part of this, to partner with me commercially, except that I have two very clear stipulations which I always lay down. One is that the product needs to be something that I am comfortable with. It needs to be something that I would use myself, that I would feel no qualms about recommending to my friends, to my family, to any of my listeners. That is one. And two is that at any given point, what comes first, what is paramount, is that my listeners be entertained. So what they're seeing needs to be quirky, it needs to be fun, it needs to be unusual, it needs to have a nice song, and it needs to be entertaining. At no point of time should it turn into a blatant advertising where it's all about the brand. So these are things I make very clear to the brands. If you want to do a blatant ad, I'm open to that, but it won't be part of the Metronome. It'll be only on some other portal. So keeping these two things in mind, I mean, we're always trying to rack our brains to figure out how to showcase a brand in a different, quirky, weird, bizarre way that our listeners like. So I'll show you one such example where there was a sarson ka tel ka brand, and we said we'll shoot this in Amsterdam, which is the unlikeliest way you can imagine promoting a sarson ka tel thing. So we said Bengali auntie is going to lug all these bottles of mustard oil with her to Amsterdam, and we'll shoot the way we usually do. Now the thing is that the way we shoot guerrilla style mostly, which means that it's just a bare crew of the two of us, and we just land up and we shoot. There is no recce, there is no preparation, there is no thinking ahead. So what we get on site is what we see. So there's constantly a need to be adaptable and mentally very, very flexible you have to be. So it's like we're constantly improvising, we're constantly changing our plans at the last minute. I'll land up there somewhere and say, oh my god, these lyrics are not going to work, let's change it. So it really, really requires you to think on your feet all the time. It helps you, it kind of makes you better and better at it. But you have to be very flexible, and you don't have some of the luxuries that other productions do. Like, I don't have a stylist or a costume person or a makeup person. I'm pretty much all of it. So I'm very often doing my makeup in bizarre places in the middle of a bus or something. I mean, I don't have the luxury of saying that, okay, can somebody please do my makeup? I'm it. And I don't have a mirror at times. I'm just using my phone selfie camera and trying to fix myself. There are times when, we find curious, onlookers who react in ways we don't predict, and we have to work around that. What also happened in Amsterdam is that we realized that Bengali auntie with a monkey cap and bindi and all of that was drawing crowds. People had clearly not seen that kind of a spectacle, and they didn't know what to make of this person. So yeah, there were a lot of crowds gathering. We didn't think it would happen, but on top of that, I had to do a lot of very weird things. So yeah, there were all these crowds that I had to sort of tune them out and do my thing because I was there to shoot. What happened in this coffee shop in Amsterdam? The guy saw me as Bengali auntie and flatly refused entry. He said, sorry, give us your passports, you can't enter. We said, okay, wapas chalte hain, we'll come back the next day. I had to go back the next day looking like a normal person. I had to sit inside the shop. I had my costume in my rucksack and literally change, inside the shop with everybody else, partaking of the wares on the menu and, rolling their stuff and doing everything all around us. And yeah, and then we said, okay, let's just shoot inside. So we shot. This was quite a video. I'm going to show you the video now.
Walking in Amsterdam looking for fish, so many canal but where is Elish? I'm in a country I don't know too well, but I have brought with me my own shoshete. Everything is expensive, cost is too much, but I'm in Netherlands, I will go Dutch. Amsterdam girl, I want to be Amsterdam girl. I stand at the window, I pose and I twirl, and I feel like Amsterdam girl. I go for the boating, I go for the jog, I whip for Anne Frank, I late at Van Gogh. I love the hotels, but I don't like the cooking, so I add mustard oil when no one is looking. Windmill is standing against the blue sky. My skin and my hair have both become dry, but I have protection from weather extreme. My shoshete is purer than cream. Amsterdam girl, I want to be Amsterdam girl. The magic of fall, I watch it unfurl, and I feel like Amsterdam girl. In Amsterdam I can do whatever I want. There is no restriction, but drinking is bad habit and drug is a danger. Shoshete is my addiction. Amsterdam girl, I want to be Amsterdam girl. The lights all around me are shining like pearl, and I feel like Amsterdam girl.
So, well, the other thing I'm trying to do is I'm constantly trying to find a new subject for Bengali auntie to, sing about. Of course, by now I'm well aware that it's going to be the recipe songs which will garner the lion's share of the views, and that the minute I take her out of the kitchen and onto something else, the views will drop. I'm well aware of that, but nevertheless, I mean, I can't resist the temptation to keep trying out new subjects and new things for her to do. Sometimes I am just stupidly hopeful. I find a subject which I think is very fascinating and really pertinent and really kind of the burning issue of the hour, and I hope against hope that I can draw my audiences, my core audiences into it, and get them interested and get them to share something. But I find that it hasn't worked out. It doesn't work out that way, and I'm mistaken, and I haven't quite gauged my audience correctly. Well, one such video, which I'm very, very proud of, incredibly proud of, but which unfortunately has one of the lowest views on my blog, was the one which I made around the Warsaw beach cleanup project. Now, I heard about this. Of course, this is the one which is spearheaded by Afroz Shah, and it's all over the news now in Mumbai. But I heard about this about a year and a half ago. I read about it on my news feed, and I said, let's go to the beach and check out what's happening there, because it sounds quite incredible. I went there and I found these guys cleaning, and it was the most surreal thing that I'd ever seen, because I have never come across people from that diverse a background, people from all kinds of religions, countries, age groups, socio-economic, backgrounds. They were all there wearing their gloves, cleaning garbage which has been dumped there by other people. It was just two religions out there on the beach. You're for garbage or you're against garbage, and that was it. And it was just so incredible. I went back the next Sunday to clean with them, and then I went back the next Sunday, and then I thought, oh wow, this is a subject that I should make a vlog about. This is something I want to make a song about. And I asked Afroz that, Afroz, I have a vlog like this and I make songs on it about a whole range of subjects. So I really think your thing is something I want to include on my vlog. Can I do that? And he was very happy about it. He said, yeah, sure. So I said, okay, what we're going to do is I'm going to split my time in half. I'm going to spend half my time cleaning with you guys, and I'm going to spend half my time filming. And of course, I had to ask CB to help me out here, because we needed lots of footage. And we decided that for this video, I didn't want anyone to come and act or pose like they're cleaning. I didn't want anyone acting or doing absolutely anything out of the ordinary. I said, let everybody continue doing exactly what they're doing. I want everyone to continue cleaning as they are. We will shoot around them, and we will shoot for as many weekends as it takes till we have the amount of footage that is required. And I will make my song and the video. I'll weave it around the footage that we actually get. So that's what we did. We shot for about 7 or 8 weeks, from about February last year to April. And I'm going to show you the video now, and every single person that you see on the video is an actual volunteer involved in actually cleaning up with their own hands. Even the dog, Diesel, that you see on the video is trained to pick up plastic bottles from wherever he sees it and cart it off with a garbage dump. I mean, we've had situations where, there's a reporter who's come to do a story on the cleanup, and Diesel has just snatched his water bottle out of his pocket and carted it off to the garbage can. So let me show you the video now.
Across the road is Dirty Beach. Dirty Beach. It make me stop in my track with a screech. Dirty Beach. Dirty Beach is full of plastic trash. The water look like it will give my skin a rash. Then came a man, a young lawyer named Afroz. What he has done, not everybody knows. He wore his glove and started cleaning Dirty Beach. He asked for help from anyone he could reach. In 80 weeks, they have achieved something drastic. They have removed 5,000 tons of plastic. Dirty Beach. Dirty Beach. Clean up, clean up, clean up, clean up. Dirty Beach. Dirty Beach. Dirty Beach. We must clean up, clean up, clean up. Dirty Beach. Man and machine, priest and punk, working together to save this beach from junk. The boys and girls, they get all hot and sweaty to clean up plastic, stretching all the way to the jetty. Down on their knees, the young and old get dirty. Nowhere in the world I have seen this kind of party. Dirty Beach. Dirty Beach. Clean up, clean up, clean up, clean up. Dirty Beach. Dirty Beach. Dirty Beach. We must clean up, clean up, clean up. Dirty Beach. The plastic is eaten by the fish. After it kill them, it land up on your dish. Everybody who loves watches food, think about the rubbish hidden in your bowl. If you are a daughter or son of a beach, protect the water, and you must teach family and friend what this is worth. For in the end, we share the earth. We see on Facebook, we see on Twitter.
Respect the planet. Please do not litter.
Dirty Beach. Dirty Beach. Clean up, clean up, clean up.
That was one of the most incredible videos I've worked on for so many reasons. So, very often I go out looking for subjects to sing, to write songs about, and sometimes subjects, come out of the blue, out of the woodwork at me and, grab me by the collar and just say that, here I am, you have to make a song out of me. You can't ignore me. So one such occasion was, when I was in Singapore some years ago, must be last year or so. And I was rushing, we were both rushing to catch the MRT train at the station. I suddenly hear the sound of a harmonica playing somewhere. I looked around and I find that, there's this really old guy standing on the sidewalk, and he's playing the harmonica. He's playing all these nostalgic tunes, and something kind of made us both turn around and go back. And we stood there and we listened to him play a whole series of golden oldies, and we gave him whatever coins we had with us, and then he started telling us about himself. He was 82 years old, this guy. He was wearing an apron that said, every day is a new chance to be awesome. And he says that, my family has I think he just told us that various members of his family have left. They're either not there with him anymore, or they've just left him, and he's all alone, and this is what he does to support himself, because he doesn't want to be dependent on anyone. So there's this 82-year-old guy doing what he loves and supporting himself. So when I was going back in the train, I suddenly realized that I had not even asked him his name. I don't know who he was. I mean, I spoke to him for such a long time, but I forgot to ask him his name. And before even I could get off at the station, the song was in my head. I knew that this had to be a song. And I decided that I was going to, weave. We had both been standing there and taking phone videos, which we always do everywhere, of the guy playing. And I decided that I want to weave his, not just weave his playing into the song, I want to listen to what he's been playing and evolve my song out of his playing, so that, it's all woven together as one unit. I'm going to play you that song now.
There's a man with a harmonica at the corner of City Hall. His loved ones have all died or gone, but he's still standing tall. There's a man with a harmonica at the corner of City Hall. His loved ones have all died or gone, but he's still standing tall. And the old man at City Hall's on the sidewalk playing his tune. He's 82 and he's standing tall on a summer morning in June. Couple of songs, I gave him all the change that I had. He told me a little bit about his life, the good times and the bad. He spoke of things that change with time and things that stay the same. We said goodbye, I walked away, I wish I'd asked his name. If you come across him at City Hall and happen to pass him by, to play him this little song I made and tell him I said hi. If you find yourself in Singapore and find him, be it here, do remember to ask his name so I can add it here.
And of course, the lovely thing about having an audience, like mine, is that somebody from my audience actually gave me his name, which I added there. And then, we went back to Singapore, I think, last year, and he showed the guy the video, and he was so thrilled. And he sang, "Oh, My Darling Clementine," for me, and we recorded this. And it was just a whole very, very lovely experience, this one. So, one of the questions that I sometimes get asked by people is, why are you doing this stuff? Why are you trying to be original and creative And instead of treading the usual safe, time-tested, straight and narrow path of commercial entertainment, why are you trying to be an artist? Because in this city, when someone says you're an artist, I had to learn this the hard way. They're not really necessarily paying you a compliment. They're trying to suggest that maybe you're doing something terribly foolhardy, and you're maybe a very dodgy kind of a person and very difficult to deal with, and not an easy person to work with, and generally a very avoidable person. So an artist is not necessarily a very good word or a compliment in the city, is what I realized. So when I'm asked this, it of course leads to a further question as to why do humans turn to art? Now, this is the kind of serious, heavy-duty, intellectual question which I try to avoid like the plague. This is not the kind of thing I like to ponder about. I just like to do my thing. I don't like spending time thinking about this. But having said that, I found the most unusual answer to this question in the most unexpected place while I was working on one of my song blogs. So what happened was that, I was going through this crazy phase at one point in time where I was obsessively, reading up and researching about the Holocaust, about World War II. So I was reading up and researching everything, every written bit of matter, every documentary that I could find on the subject. And so at some point, CB and I, we landed up in Germany, and we were visiting Dachau, which is the very first concentration camp set up by the Nazis. So, like we always do everywhere, we shot and we shot and we shot. I was shooting with my phone camera, he was shooting with his better camera. We came back, I saw the footage, and again I thought that I need to make a song vlog around this whole experience, because I was in a very disturbed state of mind, and I thought that maybe just making a vlog is going to sort of exorcise these ghosts, and I can take it out of my head and put it in the song and kind of be rid of it. So let's try and do that. Except my problem here was that what do I possibly have to say about a concentration camp or the Holocaust that has not been said a million times before by people who are like a million times better qualified than me to offer insight on the subject. So I figured that the only point of view here which made any sense at all would be my very personal experience of the concentration camp, because my personal experience is always going to be my unique and personal experience, right? So the funny thing here is that before I went to Dachau, I had thought that what would hit me the hardest would be the gas chambers and the ovens and the crematoria and all of that, the stuff that you see on documentaries, and that's really gruesome. But when I actually went there, I found strangely that was not the case, because for one thing, the entire place is so beautifully sanitized, it's so beautifully landscaped and designed, and that my whole architectural instincts also kept coming to the fore, and I kept thinking, oh my god, look at that oven, I mean, look at the detailing, look at the brickwork, look at the joining between the wood and the metal and all of that. And it's really not looking like the gruesome things that I've seen in the documentaries. What did hit me really hard, which I had not ever expected, was when I went to the museum and I started looking at all the belongings of the prisoners, which obviously somebody had collected and put on display after, when the prisoners were no longer there. And these belongings, among the belongings were drawings, sketches, crudely made drawings and sketches made with pen and pencil on any kind of paper that they had access to, and they drew things that they saw around them. They made sketches of life as they saw around them. I mean, which in this case meant torture and death and bodies and burial and the kind of subjects which none of us ever hoped to have to depict in any form. And I saw this musical score, there was a musical score of a song which two of the prisoners, while they were incarcerated, they had composed and written the song. It was called Dachau Lied, which in English translates to the Dachau song. It became one of the anthems of the Holocaust across many death camps and extermination camps and all. And I, went back and did a bit of research on the two guys who wrote the song. One was called Jura Soifer, one was called Herbert Zipper, and these two guys didn't just write that song. While they were in the camp, while they were prisoners, they also formed a secret orchestra. This orchestra used to meet every Sunday, not every Sunday, but whichever Sunday they could, in the afternoons in an unused toilet somewhere in the camps where the guards wouldn't find them, and they would rehearse using instruments which they made themselves out of scavenged wood and metal. So this, for some reason I just couldn't get this out of my head. And I will show you the video that I made from the footage.
There's a church bell that rings across fields of white gravel. I can't erase its ringing from my head. There's a church bell that rings across the emptiness that hides the stories and bones of the dead. There's a red-roofed cottage with chimneys by the church, across a bridge over water that runs clear, and the ringing of the bell in the church tries to cover the silence that shrouds what happened here. And just like you, just like me, they captured moments from their lives for us to see. And just like me, and just like you, they wrote their songs for secret concerts in the room. I hear them whisper in my head in strangled voices with no sound, 1,000 stories that I can never tell. And the skeleton from stripes follow me with hollow eyes. I feel them when I hear a ringing bell.
So I went to Dachau expecting to face some of the horriblest, worst, most gruesome things that a human being can possibly do to another. But when I was returning from there, that was not my chief takeaway from that place. Because what I kept thinking about was that here were these guys. They had everything taken away from them. They had their families snatched away. They had all their material possessions taken away. They had their health, their happiness, their peace of mind, their dignity, everything snatched away from them. And yet, there was this one thing that nobody had been able to take away from them, which was their ability to create something out of ingredients even as ugly as death and torture. And here was my answer to that question. Perhaps this is what art means to a human being. It is going to be that last thing which will be there with you, which nobody will be able to take away from you when everything else that you have has been snatched away. Maybe this is what really differentiates a human being from all other species. You know, this desire that we have, this ability that we have to preserve our memories, to share our experiences with our fellow human beings, with other generations. So I guess we turn to art because, you know, it's an exclusive privilege that only human beings have, unlike all the other species on the planet. And I guess it's going to be this ability, this you know, being able to turn to art, which will eventually lead to you know, every successive generation of the species evolving into the next upgraded version of the species. So I guess there I had my answer to the question, you know, what does art mean to us? So now I will conclude this session of Mumbai Local with a song which I made about Mumbai. It's again from the Metronome. Now this is a song from an outsider's, very Dilliwala's perspective. It's about the fact that, you know, even after living in Mumbai for 7 years, this outsider is still kind of struggling to figure out whether Mumbai is home or not. It's not quite home, it's almost home, not quite home. There are many things about the city which are quite endearing, and yet there are many things which are quite baffling, you know. So, of course, the video for this song was very interestingly shot. We shot it during one single commute from Warsaw to this part somewhere here, I think Kolaba. So we have shot in an auto, we have shot in a cab, and of course we have shot in a Mumbai Local. So let's look at this.
7 years living in the city, I've grown accustomed to the fact it smells shitty. I wear shorts instead of pants, share my sugar with the ants. Now the fungus on the ruins looks pretty. 7 years living in Mumbai, noises from a random guy makes me jump even now, and I still don't know how all the potholes just seem to multiply. 7 years, 7 years, 7 years, 7 years, living in Mumbai. 7 years, 7 years, 7 years, living in Mumbai. 7 years living in Bombay. I don't drive much, I still lose my way. I know it's called some link road. I'm appalled. My rickshaw somewhere makes my day. 7 years living in the city changes you, makes you tough, makes you pretty. Changes how you syncopate, makes you up 6 by 8. It's time to celebrate with a pity. 7 years, 7 years, 7 years, 7 years, living in the city. 7 years, 7 years, 7 years, living in this city.
So thank you so much for coming, guys. It's been lovely speaking to you. Thank you everyone at Junoon, Sanjana, Samira, Edgar, all of you for inviting me. And wow, what a lovely venue to speak in. I love this place. Thank you, Kitab Khan. So, any questions, anyone? This is your chance to ask me anything you want to ask. She feeling shy. Anything at all, guys, about any aspect of the blog. Yes. I started on, yeah, I'm glad, I love techie questions. I started on something really dinky called Sony Vegas, you know, which I used to get majorly ribbed about. Everyone said, this is a Shadi editing software, why are you using? Now I can very proudly say I've moved to Premiere Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro. Yeah, I'm still learning the ropes, but I'm very happy I've moved. It's a great software. All my biggest hits were made on Sony Vegas. There's nothing wrong. It's a brilliant software. I mean, I loved it. You know, also because it was very similar to my audio softwares. You know, the fades and everything. It's so simple to do. It's a lovely software to use. So great. So you guys make your own videos. Fantastic, fantastic. That's the way to go, you know. I feel so thrilled when I see the kids and you know, they're all doing this, all independently in charge of their future and yeah, not going around saying somebody give me a break. Lovely. Anything else? Any aspect of techie or otherwise? No? Should we? Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask you, you spoke about how they refused to let you enter in that shop in Amsterdam. So how did you tackle the ego side of things, or like how was your reception?
You know, initially I said, okay, how can you not let us enter? They were like, no, you show us your passports and you can enter. We are obviously not carrying our passports around the city. We said, why is there some country that is barred from entering? I got into a bit of a fight. They said, no, sorry, that's our policy. We want to see your age. I said, do either of us look like we are underage? What are you talking about? They said, no, we want to see your age. We want to make sure. Clearly they were uncomfortable with the monkey cap, and you know, it was a very severe look. I didn't realize that they might have thought I'm a terrorist or something. So it was a very severe look. And the next day I thought that, well, even if they have a policy about who they let in, they can't have a policy about who they let out. So I'm just going to go inside and, you know, change. That's what I did.
A similar question on the same video. I noticed a lot of the shots were from a low angle. So was it to counter the fact that there were a lot of onlookers who would have otherwise been in the frame?
I don't know. It must have been a decision we took on the spur of the moment for some reason or the other. Because you know, we shoot lots because we just don't know what out of this is going to be usable. And wherever we find a good spot, hey, here, acha lag raha hai, let's start shooting here. And we shoot. And it's like, oh my God, somebody or the other. Very often in Amsterdam, people would like, ha, 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 what are they doing? Because I was not even looking like a proper Bollywood heroine, I was looking like a freak. So I would keep getting interrupted all the time. So I don't even remember what, ask him, he's been doing, unless I was selfie shooting, he would know why.
Selfie shots are all doing.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Hold the camera like this. Okay, that's.
Yeah, probably maybe just get something else, you know, which is behind me, which I wanted to capture or something. It's all very, very spur of the moment. Nothing is planned,
Yeah,
nothing is...
Right. People come into the frame.
Perhaps. Sawan, yeah.
I mean, it's just that we are colleagues. So right before Pujo, I think there was this one...
Wait, Pujo?
Yeah. And it was all over my newsfeed, and then Obro showed it to me in office, and we both like burst out in peals of laughter. We showed it to everybody in office, and we work in a government office.
Wow!
So, and it was just so funny. And then I went back home and I saw all your videos, and like Amsterdam Girl. I sang Amsterdam Girl for like 2 days. Like whenever I would look at Obro, I'd be like Amsterdam Girl.
You know, slam, and I hear that. Wow!
But I think like what I really like is the fact that your sense of humor is just so unabashed, and there's nothing, you know, there are no guards and there's no...
I think I have the internet to thank for that. You know, I would never dare to do this for a mainstream, you know, client kind of a situation.
But you're so funny, and it's just so
Thank
nice.
you. You know, it's audiences like you who make me realize that. I have spent many years trying to not put my foot in the mouth, trying to be careful, trying to do what is good and what is expected, do the right thing. So believe me, it's the audience that has come out of the woodwork that's made me realize, hey, maybe there's something right about what I'm doing, and maybe I don't need to be scared about doing this. And wow, so really I have the internet and social media and YouTube and, you know, Facebook and Twitter and everything that's happening online to thank for this. I think YouTube makes people like us believe in whatever it is that we're doing, because otherwise it's the same old stuff.
And women in comedy, you know, we don't see women in comedy in India, and it's so refreshing. It's
Actually,
really refreshing.
Never even thought about it as comedy. I kind of just more or less, you know, come out with what is there on my mind without any, you know, censorship kind of thing. So it's lovely to hear this. Every time I hear this, I feel freshly, you know, rejuvenated and think, all right, I made the right decision to do this. Thank you.
How long it takes you to do one video like?
All right. See, if it's a simple video, like Borolin, it's very uncomplicated. The shoot happens in just about a couple of hours, and the edit takes maybe another day because there's not too many shots, and the song maybe takes a couple of days. But if it's something like, say, the beach cleaning thing, we shot and we shot and we shot for 7 or 8 weeks. Then there's that much footage that I have to wade through. So it depends on how complicated the subject is. It could take weeks, or it could take I think the minimum it takes is about a week or 2 weeks, I'd say. Then I have to sit and write. So at any given point of time, I'm writing one song, I'm trying to create the music, the musical arrangement, and all. For another song, I'm trying to think about so it's all one continuous process. So I think between 2 and 5 weeks, depending on the complexity of the subject.
I liked it.
Thank you.
This.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I wanted to ask if you have any tips to improve on any platform, any social media platform.
Lots. Ask me specifically and I'll tell you. Lots. There's always, I need improvement all the time. I mean, one constantly has scope to improve on every single front. The day you think you have no improvement, left to aspire to is the day you finished. So at any given point, there's always lots to improve upon. So ask me anything specifically.
Like, if you like, you want to make something unique, okay?
Yeah.
How do you get so much ideas?
Okay, one of the ways to get ideas is to not think about who's going to say what. Very often you get a mad idea, and the next thought that comes to your head is, oh no, somebody will scold me, or no, this is not correct, or oh no, somebody may not think that I'm a very clever person. The thing to do is to stop thinking those thoughts. If there's a mad idea, if there's a crazy idea, hold on to it. You have to, it takes a while, it takes some practice, and you know what, it takes somebody to come and tell you that, hey, that mad idea was good. In my case, it's all thanks to my audience that I slowly came out of my shell and said, okay, maybe there's something right about this. So everybody, all of us have these mad ideas. So the point is to hold on to them, and not say that, oh my God, that's mad. How can I possibly do that? I can't do that. You say, hey, that was nice, that was mad, that was crazy. Nobody's going to do that. So therefore, I should do that. So the madder and weirder the idea, the more you should want to do it. Be confident. So what if it's different? So what if somebody doesn't like it? Somebody else will like it. I think that's the spirit.
You have worked for many brands, like?
I have actually, been fortunate. I've worked for cooking oil, for food products, for a restaurant chain, for fashion and jewelry, a variety of brands. I've been very lucky that way. I'm very, very grateful to every brand that asks me to collaborate.
Yeah, you're very innovative. You're very innovative.
Thank you. I try to make my audiences happy. It's great to have this interaction with audiences because there's no barrier between us, and it's my audience that keeps molding my content all the time. I learn from them. I mean, they keep telling me where to go at any given point of time. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
There's something very interesting I noticed, and thanks to your talk for that. See, all this while we watch your videos, this is funny, this is nice. Never had I thought that you have put in so much music behind it. And after hearing you, I realized music was what actually is the sole thing that put you there. So, do you still put in that conscious effort to keep bringing that variety of music to all your videos, or now?
Absolutely, except that because I've been doing music for the last 2 decades almost. The music part is it comes automatically by now, because I've been creating music for so many clients. I've done music for TV serials and film and so many clients. Music comes like that. The music part of it is not difficult for me. What is difficult is all the rest of it. Facing the camera, acting, all this I've never done in my life. So this is the difficult part. But the music part is sacrosanct. It is something I do for clients, so I have to do it for myself.
So how do you go about it? Do you want to maintain a variety, or there is a certain segment, so therefore it follows a particular pattern of music?
Both, both. The music can never be at odds with the subject. And at the same time, I have a very low threshold of boredom. So I have to make sure that I don't get bored while making it. So yeah, I try to keep a wide variety of music that I constantly keep experimenting with, because I like to think that if nothing else, I learned some new quirk about my software or about music or about something from the whole experience. So I like to keep it that way. It's the music and the song writing part of it that actually drives the blog, you know. So I have to pay great attention to what I'm writing, and the music is very, very, very important. I mean, I don't talk about it much because making music is like, you know, breathing to me. It's what I've been doing. It's really who I am. I'm a musician to start with. I have to pay a lot more attention and work very hard at all the rest of it. I have never faced a camera. I would have never faced a camera like 3 years or so ago. I would have run from it. So it's all the rest of it. Editing on these softwares is a new thing for me. Color correction and post-production and learning, you know, website SEO and all the rest of it is a new thing for me. Music is, you know, it's like, yeah, it's a cakewalk for me. So but it is very, very important. It's the heart and soul of the blogs, yes.
Just a question that why you studied architecture? You wasted 5 years.
You know what? It was not a waste. I'm glad you asked me this. There is a direct correlation between architecture and, I would say, not just music but even filmmaking. What you do in architecture is that you are building in space with building materials. You are building with brick and mortar and cement and you know, glass and steel. But in music, you are building across time. You are building with, you're using the same structural elements, you're using the same idea of form and rhythm and aesthetics and design, except that you're building over time. You're spanning 1 hour, or you're spanning 5 minutes, or you're spanning 3 minutes instead of 3 meters or 3 kilometers. So it's exactly an identical thought process and design process. Your structure, instead of being columns and beams, is a rhythm grid. It's made of beats and it's made of maybe drums and bass or different rhythmic elements. So not at all. I think the fact that I studied architecture for 5 years has been hugely helpful in my, you know, being able to structure my songs out, structure my music out. Any kind of creative field which is a combination of sciences and arts, which both architecture and music are, you know, it's a meeting of science and art. It helps. It's all one creative process.
Nice. All your videos are so nice. Today I'll go and subscribe and I'll watch all your videos.
Thank you so much. I'd love that.
One last question.
Yes, yes.
Besides composing, do you do programming also yourself in the music part?
Yes, I do. I use Logic and yes, I do. All of it that you're seeing, there's nobody else on the entire production. All of it, yes.
Thanks. Give it up for Sawan Dutta, everyone. What a session.
Thank you.